Welcome to the battlefield of wealth, where money never sleeps. This is Greedonomics.
Imagine walking into a clinic, giving just one drop of blood, and getting hundreds of medical test results within minutes. No needles, no pain, no waiting. It sounded like the future of healthcare. The world's richest investors believed it. Former U.S. Secretaries of State trusted it. The media called its founder the next Steve Jobs. At its peak, the company was worth $9 billion. Its founder became the youngest self-made female billionaire until the entire empire collapsed because the technology never actually worked. This is the unbelievable story of Theranos, the startup that fooled Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and the world. In Silicon Valley, people don't just invest in technology, they invest in dreams. And in 2003, one 19-year-old college dropout sold the biggest dream of all. Her name was Elizabeth Holmes. She claimed she would revolutionize medicine forever. Instead, she created one of the biggest frauds in business history. Elizabeth Holmes wasn't an ordinary student. She enrolled at Stanford University to study chemical engineering. Inspired by Steve Jobs, she believed she could change the world. At just 19, she dropped out of Stanford. Her idea was simple. Traditional blood tests required multiple tubes of blood. She claimed her machine, called the Edison, could perform over 200 blood tests using a single drop of blood. If true, this would transform healthcare forever. Cheaper tests, faster diagnoses, millions of lives saved. The vision sounded impossible, which made investors love it even more. Holmes knew one secret. People don't invest in products, they invest in confidence. She wore black turtlenecks just like Steve Jobs. She lowered her voice. She spoke about changing humanity. Soon, powerful names joined the board. Former secretaries of state, military leaders, business giants. But here's the strange part. Almost none of them were experts in medicine. Still, investors poured in hundreds of millions of dollars without seeing convincing scientific proof. Media outlets praised Theranos. Magazines featured Holmes on their covers. She became Silicon Valley's golden child. By 2014, Theranos was valued at $9 billion. Elizabeth Holmes personally owned about half the company. On paper, she was worth around $4.5 billion. The dream had become an empire. Behind closed doors, reality looked very different. The Edison machine kept failing. Blood samples produced inaccurate results. Tests couldn't be repeated consistently. Employees knew something was wrong, but they weren't allowed to talk to each other. Departments were isolated. Anyone asking too many questions was fired. Some employees became whistleblowers. They warned management. Nothing changed. Instead, Theranos secretly used traditional laboratory machines made by other companies. While telling customers the results came from its revolutionary technology, the magic was an illusion.
There are numerous reports out there saying that Theranos is being sued for alleged fraud by the co-founder of Robertson Stevens, Mr. Coleman, Robert Coleman. Specifically, the lawsuit alleges that the company, Theranos, made false and misleading claims about its operations and its technology and its results while actively soliciting money from investors. The suit alleges that the company was misleading. It cites the inspection findings by federal regulators, and there, of course, is a picture of Theranos CEO Elizabeth Holmes. It says the inspection findings by federal regulators lend credence to its suit, which alleges fraud. After the inspection results, Theranos then voided 2 years of test results run on its proprietary testing platform, and as you know, has since shut down its laboratory operations. This suit is being heard in San Francisco. It is seeking class action status, so we're going to keep a very close eye on that for you.
Every great scam eventually meets one determined investigator. For Theranos, that man was investigative journalist John Carreyrou. He received tips from former employees. Something wasn't adding up. He spent months verifying documents, interviewing insiders, checking medical records. Then, in 2015, he published a bombshell investigation. The article revealed that Theranos' technology simply didn't work. The company denied everything. They threatened lawsuits. They attacked critics. But facts are difficult to silence. Soon, government regulators launched investigations. Everything happened quickly. Regulators found major problems inside Theranos labs. The company voided thousands of blood test results. Partnerships disappeared. Investors panicked. Patients questioned whether their medical results had ever been accurate. The company burned through cash. Its valuation collapsed from $9 billion to zero. In 2018, Theranos officially shut down. The company that promised to change healthcare no longer existed. The story wasn't over. Federal prosecutors charged Elizabeth Holmes with fraud. After a lengthy trial, a jury found her guilty on multiple counts of defrauding investors. She was sentenced to more than 11 years in federal prison. The woman once celebrated as the future of innovation became the face of one of Silicon Valley's greatest deceptions.
Has been sentenced today. 38-year-old Elizabeth Holmes was convicted in January on the false claims that she developed a device that could detect many diseases and conditions from just a few drops of blood. She received more than 11 years in prison for duping investors.
Holmes receives her sentence after being found guilty on 4 fraud-related charges. On November 18th, the 38-year-old was sentenced to 11 years and 3 months in prison, along with 3 years of supervised release, per NBC News. During the trial, prosecutors accused Holmes of defrauding investors, doctors, and patients with her business, which purported to have developed a blood testing method that gets rapid and accurate results by merely using a small amount of sample gathered through a finger prick. On January 3rd, a California jury found Holmes guilty of 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and 3 counts of wire fraud. However, jurors determined that she was not guilty of a 2nd count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and reached no verdict on 3 more counts of wire fraud. She was additionally found not guilty on the final 3 counts in the case. A Stanford University dropout, Holmes became somewhat of a tech visionary in Silicon Valley after founding Theranos in 2003. The company was backed by high-profile investors, and Holmes was thrust into the spotlight. In 2015, she spoke at Glamour magazine's 25th annual Women of the Year Awards.
I want to just take a minute to say, especially to the young women in the room here, do everything you can to be the best in science and math and engineering.
Actress Amanda Seyfried went on to play Holmes in Hulu's miniseries The Dropout.
I don't think that this is going to work out.
What do you mean? What's not going to work out?
The partnership.
What?
I think that Walgreens is a little old-fashioned in culture, which I absolutely respect. But we need synergy, and I'm not feeling a synergy here.
Her performance eventually won her an Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie. Holmes must surrender to authorities on April 27th. E! News reached out to Holmes' attorney for comment on her sentencing, but has not heard back.
The Theranos story isn't just about one company. It's about what happens when ambition outruns reality, when charisma replaces evidence, and when people stop asking difficult questions. Innovation changes the world, but blind belief can destroy it. The next revolutionary startup may already be making headlines today. The real question is, will history repeat itself? If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to Greedonomics, where we uncover the world's biggest financial scams, corporate frauds, and economic disasters. Because behind every billion-dollar empire, there's always a story they don't want you to know.